maybe just to give you some statistics from an Irish perspective, because it flows on from the CNEAL's report. Since 2018, we've dealt with over 70,000 cases. That includes cases where we interact with the data subject and then they go into a formal admissible complaint handling process. So out of those 70,000, we've got over 62% of the national complaints are related to DSARs. That includes some multifaceted and then sole complaints in relation to data subject requests, which is in at around 58%. In comparison, from our cross-border side, it's much lower. We're in at around 23% of complaints in relation to it, and the majority of those access requests relate to the social media companies, big tech companies. So they're very different type of subject access requests we're seeing. For the national side, we're in about what we've calculated is just over 15% of those complaints solely relate, those admissible complaints which don't go through our early resolution unit, I should say. So that's where we amply resolve something on. We can close it out quite quickly. We're up in around 15% of those are related to employment issues alone. So that's individuals making complaints to around their companies that they either previously worked for or currently work for. So just a couple of interesting things that we saw. Most of the complaints were related to ongoing disciplinary investigations, where obviously individuals are looking for access to information. In around that, the majority of them were in relation to requests for all copies of data, but strangely enough, the second top topic was in relation to CCTV footage, and we're putting that down in around to monitoring and tracking of employees. Which we weren't expecting, I must say. The majority of our, to date, the majority of any appeals from the national side have all been in relation to access requests and our determinations in relation to those. The other side of things then was mostly around chats, WhatsApps, messages, that not being apparent in returns that people were receiving. DPC is taking quite a significant stance on this at the moment. In the past year and a half, we've issued just over 11 enforcement notices out to companies. 3 of those related to non-responses, so access requests being provided to a company and the company not responding to the individual or to us when we prompt them to act on it. Those 3 cases are actually under consideration for prosecution now. We've also included the directors of those companies in the enforcement notices so that we can tackle that if needs be. The other 8 are in relation to the controller not agreeing with the position that the DPC has taken in relation to an application of an exemption, where we've required them and asked them to release certain aspects of documents. Just in terms, and it's kind of following on from, I suppose, the last session around the simplification of matters, but also mainly, and I'm sure Colin will want to speak around this, is the harmonisation regulations, which will put significant pressure on regulatory bodies to put more stringent procedures in place as to how we handle complaints going forward. So we've been working on that already for the past year and a half, where we'd specifically engage with the data subject, as a matter of fact, to find out exactly what it is that they're looking for, to try and narrow the scope of what the subject matter of the complaint is, to open up communication channels with the controller, to bring the controllers in to find out what their position is in relation to the, I suppose, use of exemptions is the one that usually comes up more than anything. We've developed a lot of internal guidance, which we're now going to be transposing into external guidance, so we'll be welcoming any feedback on that. We have run a public survey, which was up on the website, that include input from different data controllers. So we're trying to open communication channels to get it working from everyone. From a regulatory perspective, we do understand that a lot of the time it can be quite difficult to understand what exactly the individual is looking for, in particular where there's requests are in relation to employees who've been employed for quite a significant period of time.